What do you believe right now that's making you feel this way? And when you analyse it, you realise how irrational you can be at times.
Every single one of our major customers and minor customers all shut their doors overnight.
It's not sales per se, but the outcome of it is because people get to know you, they get to see you.
But, what's the culture like at the business? What do we stand for, the values?
I've got to tick that box on my personal development programme I don't really want to be here.
Scaling up a business isn't easy. If it were, we wouldn't have less than 4% of businesses scaling beyond 10 employees or around £1 million turnover level, and less than 1% beyond 50 employees. But the contribution that we make as owner-managers to our economies is immense and should never be underestimated, yet it can be a tough gig for all of us at times, and only other business owners truly understand the challenges that we face. And through ScaleUp Radio, we aim to help make things a little easier. We interview guests who have been where you are now and may have faced some of the challenges that you are facing. And they offer their thoughts and advice on what has worked for them, as well as what didn't. And we've also combined many of the lessons from these interviews and also through working with hundreds of owner managers over the last 10 years or so into a practical scale-up handbook that we've called the Entrepreneurial Scale-Up System, or ESUS. And it's for owner managers like you and me as we navigate our own scale-up journey. And you can order a copy through your favourite online book retailer or by going to all the W's, esusgroup.co.uk, www.esusgroup.co.uk.
Hello, I'm Granger Forson. www.bizsmart-gloucestershire.co.uk or find me on LinkedIn. This time on ScaleUp Radio, I speak with Carlo Colucci, the Client Director at County Employee Benefits. County Employee Benefits is a business that is based in Gloucestershire and helps its clients understand and define the best employee benefits that they need in order to recruit and retain their ideal staff. They started a few years ago, but have already grown by taking on Carlo and have plans with more growth to come. It's so interesting hearing Carlo's story about how he came to the business and fitted into the culture and the passion driving it. As always, we cover a lot of ground, including working in an office after a long time at home drives a set of unused social skills. Working alongside the business owner every day is a true benefit of an SME rather than being a cog in the wheel of a large company. Bringing value to a client to meet their needs rather than just chasing the fee is so rewarding. What is illuminating about this conversation with Carlo is how he shows working in an SME with a family attitude approach is so rewarding, and little daily chats are so valuable. I know you'll get an awful lot from this episode, so let's go over and listen to Carlo. So welcome, Carlo Colucci. Welcome to ScaleUp Radio. Please introduce yourself and your business.
Yeah, so I'm Carlo Colucci from County Employee Benefits. We're an employee benefits consultancy based in Gloucester, but we've got clients sort of up and down the country, national companies that deal with all sorts of different sectors, to be honest. But our main area that we deal with, we do employee benefits, so all from risk clients to healthcare clients to voluntary benefits, and essentially act as an extension of HR teams. So we answer any queries they might have or set up any products and also do the consultancy of those products themselves.
Why would a business come to you then in terms of doing that? If they've got an HR team, they've got stuff in place, why would they come to you? What services do you provide to help them understand employee benefits and what they can do?
We normally get clients come to us when they're unsure of what their workforce actually want. So in a sense of their recruitment and retention of staff, they're not sure what products would fit them best. So we'll then speak to them and also offer them sort of comparisons of what other competitors might be doing. We then present to them what we feel is the best for their fit and what their staff would value the most. We then set up the policies themselves, check what the best ones in the market are for them. So it's not always the cheapest product, but the best fit for the client themselves. And every client is different. So whenever we speak to a client, we like to understand what they do first and foremost, and also what they value. Yeah, we work as a team with them, essentially, rather than just us and them. We like to see ourselves as a team to be able to just get the very best for each individual client.
So you're finding the value that they would then use when they're doing the recruitment in terms of benefits. There are sort of then benefit schemes and systems that they have then in businesses?
Exactly that. So the majority of clients we get nowadays that come to us, one of the massive issues they have is recruitment and retention of staff. And I think straight away, whenever you compare sort of two job adverts that a potential candidate might have, the sticking point in some scenarios is the benefits package. And we like to work with our clients to not just have the bog standard product, but for them to be able to tell potential clients or potential candidates, or tell current staff what that actual product does. We don't want to just say, here's your private medical insurance policy, for example. We want to say, actually, this private medical insurance is brilliant because you have unlimited outpatient limits, so you can see the doctor as much as you want, or it has zero excess, so you don't have to pay anything throughout the year. So it's really about making sure the clients understand the products themselves, rather than just here's your package and that's that.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting in terms of then how that works. I really like that. And so you're helping your clients craft and understand the best benefits that would attract and retain people. Oh, fascinating in terms of that. So tell me about business. Where did it come from? Why did it get going?
Yeah, so our managing director is a woman called Nikki Wood. She's been in the industry for 20 years or so. So she's got vast experience of doing employee benefits. And I've been in the industry for coming up to 10 years myself. And we've both worked for sort of national companies that are the big players in the market. And Nikki herself, when she went to set up the business, she sort of decided that she wanted to set up her own company doing what we do, but for the guys that value our actual relationship rather than just being a number. So both of us have come from that larger background, but we're now just trying to be that company that looks to help clients in every way possible, and not just to treat them as another number. So we see ourselves as a bit of a boutique employee benefits company, because we do stuff outside the box a little bit. We do, just like I said earlier, we try and be an extension of their team, the client's team itself, rather than being us and them. So that's really how we like to see ourselves with the clients.
So you talked about clients a number of times. So who are typically your clients in terms of doing things? And
yeah, so it really does range. We've got many different size clients and many different sectors, but what we tend to work with ourselves is that SME market. So you're sort of, it can be anything from 10 employees to sort of 100 employees. That's where we normally see our clients sort of sitting. Okay. It doesn't mean we don't work with the larger clients. I mean, one of Nikki's first ever clients, when she started the business sort of 5-6 years ago, they started with 7 employees. They've now got close to 400. So we do a lot of work with startup companies that are growing. And again, they grow with these corporate clients. And we still deal with them, and we make sure we're doing the best service for them. But where we see ourselves adding value is really that SME market, where they might not even have a HR team. It might be an office manager, or it might be just the business owner itself, where they're unsure what to do in terms of employee benefits. That's where we can really add our value and show that this is what we do, this is what we can help you with, and this is what we'll do for you.
So what you've talked about, that you feel you're different in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. You've talked about a boutique type approach. So what do you think makes you different and stand out in terms of the success of the growth so far?
I think the main thing that we feel stands us out from the market is our personable side. We really do start to, as soon as we meet our clients or have them as a lead, we really try and build that relationships to start off with. We don't want to just just do some background checks on the company and see what they are about and get some data and go ahead from there. We really want to find out what that client does, what makes them tick, and know more about them than just the name of the company and how many staff they've got. So it's really finding out more about them and their sector and where they sit and where they want to be in 5-10 years time as a company, because we see that's massive for us building a relationship. Like I said before, we don't want to be this company that is just a one-way asking for stuff. It's a two-way relationship where we're both understanding each other and seeing how we can help each other.
So two-way relationships, yeah, in terms of engagements and developing that. So, how do you initialize that first engagement that then builds that capability with them? So, do you meet them face to face? Is it done on Zoom? How do you build up that relationship?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mixed bag, because since COVID, it's the same for everyone, it seems, but online meetings are becoming more and more of a thing. I mean, even today, me and you, we wouldn't be doing this before COVID over Zoom. It would normally be a face-to-face meeting, but we do try and get to see all our clients and have that face-to-face meeting, because again, we want to be a personable relationship. We don't want to just be a name at the end of an email or at the end of a telephone. We like to read each other and read our clients and get that sort of personable basis. But again, like I said, Zoom meetings, team meetings, we do them. Obviously, sometimes it's just convenient, isn't it? It's easy to do, and if you need a quick catch up, then it's perfect. But we do try to go and see our clients quite a lot and build that relationship that way.
And we know it's successful because we're having this conversation in terms of the growth of the business. So you've recently joined the business. So give us, where did you come from, and why did you join Nikki and the team?
Yeah, of course. So I joined the business probably about 8 months ago now. Nikki brought me on to look after our clients, the existing book of business, for then Nikki herself to generate leads and work with introducers to grow our book. Previously, I've been in employee benefits for, like I said earlier, close to 10 years now. And as soon as I left school, it was the first job I had. So sort of fell into the industry, but haven't looked back, as they say. But previously, I've worked for another local company in Gloucester, a local broker. Then I was in a national broker where it was one of the market leading in the industry. And now, coming back to a more local team with Nikki, just to deliver on what our business plan is, which is just to grow the business and be that boutique employee benefits consultancy that others aren't like in the market. And the main selling point and why I wanted to join Nikki was just that we're similar in our backgrounds, having both worked for large companies, and we're similar in a sense that we always want the best for our clients, not necessarily the best fees or commission. It's all about our clients rather than just a number.
So you jumped in terms of joining an SME, and you're helping SMEs in terms of doing that. So one of the questions we often get asked by our clients when we're looking for that is, how do I attract somebody with the real passion that I need into the business when I can't always offer the same salary package and structure of big companies? So you've talked about you had that passion, you could see what Nikki wanted in terms of doing that, but what is it about working in a small business that really excited you over from the big businesses you've worked in before?
I think one of the main things as well is being able to work alongside the owner of the business, and being part of the growth yourself is a massive selling point to me. To be part of a project that is moving forward and has growth plans rather than just being another number, just being another employee. It's massive for me, myself, and I know it's massive for other people when they're looking to branch out to these SME businesses, because once you're working alongside your your owner, and they're taking on your opinion of how to grow the business. I mean, we have regular catch-ups on what we both think about the industry and what we both think we can do to improve, because if you're not looking on how you can improve yourself, then there's no chance for the business. So yeah, it's massive that working literally alongside the owner of a company, rather than just seeing the CEO once in a blue moon, it was a massive selling point for me.
Brilliant. Really fascinating in terms of that, because we don't often get a chance to ask people. So that was a fantastic answer. Thank you very much. And it helps our business owners that listen to this podcast give them some thoughts and ideas in terms of why people would join you. We do say these things, and you've just shown that in terms of brilliant. So let's talk about your customers, these SMEs, in terms of doing things. So what was the marketplace like? Is it very competitive? Is it price driven? Is it value driven? How do you how would you describe the marketplace that you're working in?
Yeah, the marketplace itself, it is price driven, which is what we are trying to move away from. The providers we work with, when we're speaking to clients and recommending providers, we do not do stuff on price. We won't recommend a provider because they have the cheapest rates. That's just not what we do. We want to find the best fit for our clients. So as much as the market itself is seen to be price driven, that's not what we do. That's where we differ. We'll look at the background. We'll say, oh, this provider might have a free added value service of some sort that would be really beneficial for you. And as much as they're a little bit more expensive, they offer that product that would be really great for you as a company. Because each provider we work with are different. They're all introducing different add-ons to their proposition, and they're ever changing. And that's where we sort of add our value, is finding the best fit for each individual company. So as much as like I say, it is a price-driven industry, we're trying to move away from that ourselves, and we're trying to be that consultant, going back to actually being consultants rather than being, this is the cheapest rate available.
And is the marketplace changing in terms of the types of benefits that people are looking for? Do you track trends to go and find the new benefits, or how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, I really myself, in the last 10 years, I've seen the industry change quite dramatically, really. When I first started, the new thing on the block was sort of group life insurance, and everyone was getting that for their clients. Whereas now, since COVID, I think the importance of private medical insurance has increased. People have seen the effect COVID has had, and realised that they want these insurances in place so that they can make sure that themselves and their families are covered. So as much as some of the benefits, well, all of the benefits in the market are important, we're seeing a massive increase in healthcare products such as private medical insurance, because clients and employees, they really are starting to see the value since COVID itself has hit.
Okay, so we help our businesses grow and scale in terms of doing that. So let's explore some of the things that your business does and the structures it has in place, and what does. So I always ask this question, whether you can answer it, is what went right, what went wrong. So maybe within your time there so far, or what would Nikki say in terms of some of the learnings that have happened over the past few years?
I think some of the learnings itself since I've joined the company, even being in the office. So where from my previous job, I was sort of working from home most of the time. And as much as you're dealing with your colleagues, it's not the face-to-face interaction that you have in the office. Whereas now I'm in the office every day, not just because we like to have that office environment, but because we can then interact with each other as colleagues far easier than we could over Teams and Zoom. So why that's been a bit of a learning point for me is because you get so used to working from home that you sort of forget your personal skills. So even when you then go back into the office, it's like you forget how to talk to people or make conversation or do small talk. So that's something that I've had to learn again on how to do, and how to be around colleagues, and how to be essentially the brightest you can be. If you come into the office down in the dumps about something, or you seem down at all, it then passes on to another colleague, who's then, it brings them down. So it's about being the best that I can be. Whereas when you work from home, you probably don't really feel or think about that sort of stuff. So that's definitely a challenge that I found. And yeah, I probably didn't realize how much of an effect that would have on me. But yeah, that's definitely something that hopefully, touch wood, is improving with time. But yeah, it's definitely taken some getting used to again.
Interesting. And are things that have been successful since you joined?
Yeah, so since I've joined, we've taken on a variety of new clients. I've built relationships with all the existing clients, so taken on the existing client bank, and obviously part of my job is making sure that they're all happy with the service we give. And touch wood, so far everything's gone smoothly. So yeah, just making sure that I can be the best account manager for them, and be that friendly face that they know they can come to with any questions. So yeah, since I've started, I've had numerous clients say how useful they found sort of presentations to staff, for example, to make sure that their staff realize what their benefits are. And any sort of feedback like that is always nice to hear. So yeah, it's I'd say that one of the main, probably doesn't sound too impressive, but one of the main positives since I joined is actually building that relationship with all of our clients, and being that face that they can go to, really.
So how does the business make decisions, the strategic decisions, where are you going to do, what you're going to focus on, what you're going to work on next? Yeah, how do you do that as a team?
Yeah, so as a team, we have an annual sort of business planning day, where we'll go through our business plan, where we want to be in the next few years and how we're going to get there. It includes sort of number of clients, and then at which stage we look to hire new staff, and all of that sort of stuff. And one thing that CEB and County are brilliant at is that everyone's involved in that conversation, no matter what job level you are. Because like I said, it's such a cliche that you're sort of a family environment, but we really are, in a sense that everyone needs to be involved, because we just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. There's nothing worse than just having an email from above saying this is what we're trying to do. If you're involved with the conversations, you know exactly why that we're doing stuff. So yeah, we have an annual business planning day, but in reality, we're talking about it sort of every day, every week, every month, because we're working alongside each other. We're seeing each other day in, day out. And naturally, we all are on the same page. Even during sort of interview process, or when I met Nikki before I started, we spoke about what I would want from a business and what she sees as the business's future. And it was really an open dialogue. I say it to her all the time now, but when I was taking on the job, I didn't really see it as interviews with her, because we were just openly talking about what we've done and what we want to be. So never really felt like an interview, which is just a credit, really, to show how involved everyone is in the process.
And absolutely, because that's really important, keeping everybody aligned and structured, and thinking about that as a small business, but really much as you grow. But every day, there is the pressure in terms of everything we need to do and achieve, as well as growing the business and what we need to do. So, in times of our lives, we get overwhelmed, too much to do, etc. So how do you manage overwhelm? How do you manage your diary and days, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult because, I think, like you said, everyone feels that feeling sometimes, being overwhelmed, because everyone's job's different, and a part of my job is to be that account manager for our clients. And we have got a large book of clients now, and it is building all the time, so it's getting busier and busier. So that overwhelming feeling, it can linger sometimes. But the way I normally deal with that sort of stuff, I try and break every task down. Sometimes when you do a to-do list, for example, it could be as long as your arm, and you're not going to do that all today. And then that gives you that sinking feeling that you're anxious about it. So I really try and break down tasks to say, right, I know I'm not doing that today, but if I speak to the client and say it'll be with you by tomorrow or the day after, at least I'm keeping in contact. And I think that's what clients really do appreciate. It's just, if you can't do something straight away, just be in contact with them and tell them when they're going to receive the information. So for me, it's just breaking down each task, saying, look, it's probably not going to get done, but this is when I am going to do it, and making sure that I can do it by that point. And if stuff's running late, then I'm keeping in contact with clients and telling them why stuff's running late, and not just being invisible. And that's the key for me, is just making sure that I'm breaking each task down.
And how many people in the business now in terms of the office?
In County Employee Benefits, so we just give you a bit of an insight on County Group itself. We're made up as a roofing company and employee benefits company, which is quite unique, really. And another reason we're quite boutique. So in the building itself, there's around 12 of us, but for the employee benefits team, there's me, Nikki and Sadie. So Nikki is obviously our managing director, I'm our account manager, and Sadie's the one who does our administration.
So there's the three of you in terms of doing that, in terms of now you've been brought on to help allow Nikki to grow the business in terms of doing things. How do you've talked about overwhelm, but how do you ensure as a team you're all focusing on the right things to help the business grow in terms of what you do?
Again, it's just regular updates where we speak to each other and have team meetings all the time. As well as the three of us, we've then, in the wider county group, we've then got our accounts team who deal with all our invoicing and commission that comes in, as well as the payroll. We've also, there are other sides of the business, but in the main, it's the three of us. So yeah, the main way we stay on track is just by regular meetings, regular catch-ups, regular just chats, really, as well. Like, there's such a value in just having a chit chat with a colleague. It's probably been lost through COVID times and not seeing each other, but there really is a value in just chatting with each other and making sure that we're all on the same page, even if it's such a little thing that needs doing. Just making sure that we're all on the same page. So that's how we sort of stay connected, is just by having regular catch-ups on each individual sort of point.
Yeah, the value of chatting. Fantastic. What a great no, I totally agree. It is a very, very important activity in terms of doing that. So you talked about you're part of a group. So there are other businesses, and so the other group then has the finance team, etc., etc. So how big are they? What do they?
Essentially, we've got the three of us, and then obviously the accounting team is in County Group itself. County Group is made up of County Employee Benefits, County Roofing, and County Plumbing. So in the County Roofing side, there's another 6 staff, as well as operatives and roofers themselves. And then in the plumbing side, there's a few more employees. So yeah, quite a well-rounded and big company in the small scale of things.
And Nikki is part of that wider group, or in terms of the owner of the business, or
she's the managing director of employee benefits, which sits in the county group itself.
And her relationship into the wider group.
So Nikki's husband is the owner of County Group itself.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That I fully see that. That's really cool. Keep it.
So that's what when we say that we're a family sort of feel company, because it really is. Like you've got upstairs Nikki, and sort of 2 offices down will be her husband, and then later on the floor is sort of more family. So we're sort of a family run company, but we're all sort of part of all the same county family itself.
Lovely. Love it. Really good. So let's talk about then in terms of your role, so and how you grow in the business in terms of doing things. So what sort of marketing works for county employee benefits?
Yeah, so our main at the moment, our mainstream of marketing is introducers and leads. So introducers, we work with different HR companies, for example. So external HR consultants who then deal with clients and will recommend that we do benefits packages for them. Because as much as HR consultants themselves, they are brilliant because they work with many different companies. They might not understand employee benefits as much as we probably do. So they like to bring us in, and they're a big introducer for us. Another one we like to speak to is payroll providers, who again, they're dealing with these large clients that and they're often being asked, do you know how to set up a group life scheme, for example, or do you know anything about private medical insurance? And they probably don't themselves, whereas they can speak to us and we can help their clients. And then sort of lastly, we're in a few different networking groups. One such group that me and Nikki are both involved in is business networking group that plays golf. We're both keen golfers, so we're part of the 4 Golf Business Network. So once a month we'll meet up with the rest of the group, talk through what each other do. You then network with the other guys in the group and then play a round of golf. So it's mixing business with pleasure. So, but it's a great. We've had a few leads and spoke to quite a few people in that have come on board and taken on services. So it's a great way of mixing a bit of business with pleasure.
Awesome. I have a somebody I've worked with recently who does that as well. He actually also runs golf events to bring people together to network in terms of doing things. So yes, it definitely works. Networking is a very important part of every small business as you're growing. So what do you love the most about the business that the industry that you work in?
I think just that reward and sense of helping employees. Like an example being, it's quite a sad example, but when you know a member is sort of terminally ill and they're trying to get their sort of estate in line, and being able to say, listen, this is the sum you'll receive, but in the meantime, this is the help that when you do pass away, your children can receive, and making sure that when that time comes, that they're in the best position possible. As much as it's really sad, it's really rewarded knowing that you've helped someone and helped a family. So yeah, it's just about the bit I love about the industry is we do try and just make the best of a bad situation, and just making sure that everyone's looked after once someone might have passed away, for example.
And what drives you crazy about the industry? What would you change if you had a magic wand?
If I had a magic wand, what would I change? That's a great question. I think like any industry, there's legislations that are for a better word, ancient and probably aren't even applicable anymore. So if I had a magic wand, I'd probably take out all rules and regulations and just let it work freely. But no, I think for us, one of the things that we're quite keen to get is that I think employee benefits itself is seen as sort of a commission-based industry where you're getting a commission for doing nothing, when in fact we could go on a sort of fee basis and we just do work based on what a client needs. So again, like I said earlier, trying not to be that fee-driven or cost-driven company. We just want to be a valued member of a company's team. So yeah, if I had a magic wand, I'd get rid of rules and regulations, but I'd also get away that sort of sense of just being a guy in a suit that takes a commission for doing not a lot of work. If people knew the sort of work we do, I think it'd be a lot easier to get our foot in the door.
Awesome, lovely answer. So let's imagine we're meeting in 5 years' time, okay, and we're going to look back on the last 5 years and what's happened both in the business and for you to make that a really successful 5 years.
Well, for me, hopefully winning the lottery, that would be a nice start. But no, I think for the business itself, in 5 years' time, we will have wanted to potentially have moved offices into a bigger working space. We would want to be probably a staff size of increased from a basic 3 to maybe sort of 9-10 employees, and our book of business to be sustained, but quite a large book. We'd want to be helping as many SME clients as possible to navigate their way through the employee benefits packages for their staff. And I think one of the main things we want to be doing in the next 5 years is getting our name out there. We're never going to try and be that big firm within the industry, but if we can be a firm that people talk about as doing the best for their clients, that's what we want to be doing. So in the next 5 years, hopefully just being that person to be able to do.
And what would get in your way? What would stop you achieving that?
Hopefully nothing. But I think
Good answer.
Yeah, I think one of the big obstacles, like I mentioned earlier, is just getting our face out there and getting our name out there. If we can show that it's not just the bigger guys that do employee benefits, and we can help, we can help show what we do to other people, then we probably don't see that many obstacles. It's just being able to grow it quite sustainably.
Well, Carlo, thank you very much. Fantastic conversation we've had in terms of taking us through, what the business does. We got there in terms of the structure of it, how it was set up by Nikki, and how it is developing and growing. Trying to become a value partner for your clients, so they can get the best policies and systems in place for packages for benefits. Being that retained person on the team was a fantastic thought in terms of doing that. How you come onto the business and you've taken on and growing, and how you've that fantastic explanation in terms of why you joined a small SME, and the fact that you value that time you can have and right next to the business owner, and helping them do that, and that wonderful part of a small business being that family run business, and that thinking of it is really good. I love the way that you talked about managing your overwhelm, and keeping focus on the key things that need to get done, and not getting stuck in terms of doing that. And I love the comment about having the value of chatting and meeting in the office to give those regular updates of where you are, what you're working on, etc. In terms of doing the value of that, it is really, really, really beneficial, and I think that definitely comes across there. And I love your energy, enthusiasm in terms of is anything going to stop you achieving the 5-year plan? No, nothing. Well done.
Always got to be optimistic.
Absolutely, it's been brilliant in terms of that. So we always finish with a quick fire round. So a few short questions for you to think on and give me some quick feedback on. Right, so are we ready? If you could go back to younger you, what advice would you give yourself?
I think just ensure that I know everything's going to work out. I think in your early years, and a girl I used to go to school with, she's got a brilliant podcast on it called Talk 20s, where she talks about all of these people in their early 20s and how you think stuff's going to be. Just relax and go with the flow. It's just a massive thing, because everything will work itself out. You just got to have the faith that it'll do it.
Awesome. Which books would you recommend?
Which books would I recommend? I'm massive into my sport autobiographies. So I've read quite a few of them. Tyson Fury had a brilliant one. One of my favorite ever footballers is Steven Gerrard, and he also had a brilliant autobiography. But the best one I've ever read was by Lawrence Dallaglio, an ex-England rugby captain. How he's been through massive hardships, like family members dying on sort of cruise ships and stuff like that, and how he's got past that to become sort of the legend in rugby that he was massively inspirational. So I definitely recommend that.
Thank you. I'm going to look that one up.
Yeah.
Do you listen to any podcasts, and if so, which would you recommend?
Yeah, obviously listen to ScaleUp Radio. That's one of them. But no, other ones that I tend to listen to. Again, I'm massive in sport. Mentioned golf earlier, but Rick Shields' golf podcast I listen to. And then in a more business side, I do listen to some of the Diaries CEO with Stephen Bartlett. Some of those, if the guest is someone I sort of can link to, then I definitely listen to those and try and understand a little bit more about the background of some of these celebrities, because as much as you see them in the news, see them in the papers, you don't see the real them. And I think the podcasts are really good at doing that and understanding them.
Thank you. What apps do you use most on your phone, or make a biggest difference for you?
To be honest, I'm not massive on going on my phone. I try to use my phone as little as possible. I try and get out there and see and socialize. Phones are brilliant, don't get me wrong. Like the technology advancements nowadays is incredible, but the most used ones from me are probably like sort of WhatsApp messaging apps that I can then message my friends on and make sure that I'm meeting up with them. I'm not massive on apps themselves.
Okay. My favorite question now. Who's had the most influence on you as a business leader?
Biggest influence on me as a business leader is probably, it's going to sound really cliche, but it's my dad probably. My dad's owned his own businesses for pretty much as long as I can remember. He started with sort of a golf shop, and then more recently had his own recruitment company. So he's had a few different businesses, and I guess growing up, naturally it always made me want my own business or to be involved in my own business. So yeah, definitely probably my dad in that situation.
Brilliant. And finally, how can people get hold of you?
Yeah, so my contact details, by email, by phone, or on LinkedIn. You can either search me on LinkedIn at Carlo Colucci or drop me an email at carlo@county-group.co.uk. And then all of my details are available there.
Brilliant. Well, Carlo, thank you very much for this conversation today. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed that discussion, and if you're building and scaling your own business, you might well be interested in our book, The Entrepreneurial Scale-Up System. And it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a practical handbook around scaling a business in a structured way. And you can order a copy on all your favorite online retailers, including an audio version, or you can find it and other supporting resources on our website, www.esusgroup.co.uk. That's esusgroup.co.uk, which is esusgroup.co.uk.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.